Hello, my name is João Nascimento, and this is my fourth training video for the restoration management system. This video shows you some more features, starting on plant batches at the greenhouse. So every restoration project, probably will require planting of plants like trees, forbs, shrubs, grasses, and many greenhouses they produce their own plants, so the project can produce the plants that are going to be planted in a restoration site, and those plants they need some management tasks, so in order to grow healthy. And also in a project we have to know how many plants we're going to plant in every site or section, so this screen helps us to manage these issues. So here's a plant batch inventory at greenhouse. We can here add new plant batches in this button, add records, but I'll show you some record that is already filled. So here's a batch ID, just number 1. We have the scientific name. You can select scientific name from the drop-down lists. The species come from the plant species database, and invasive plants are not included here. Invasive or undesirable are not included in this list. So you can have initial quantity like 98. So you can select the pot size according to some commercial pot gallons, pot size, so you can change those pot size too if needed. So have quantity over winter, initial quantity over winter, dates the lot was planted, quantity available, and the day last updates. Here's the seed origin for these seeds. So in the next screens I'll show you seed location database, and then you know from where this value comes from. But just to summarize now, so this database controls the origin of each plant allocated to a site, and many states they require that native plants should be used on sites for better fitness to the soil, to the climate. And so what restoration professionals can do is go to nearby sites and collect either seeds or plants like cuttings and grow them in a greenhouse until they are ready to be planted. So and finding for plant spots can be really tough task. Undisturbed plant spots where you can be sure that plant is really local, and so it should be done every planting season. So we can record the planting spots in a database with GPS coordinates like latitude, longitude, so you can every year go to the same spots and keep track of where they are instead of just driving around and watching for plants. And once we go to a site, we collect, let's say, a seed bag, we relate that seed bag to a site, and then when we start a plant batch here, we can relate a plant batch to a seed bag, see here, and to a seed origin. So this way we can track the origin of all plants linked to a site, and also use this seed batch, this plant batch here in a site, we can say with high degree of confidence that those plants came from the site XYZ somewhere. So and every year we can select different sites to bring plants for the same restoration site, so we can add some genetic variety to a site even using local species. So next screens you see that, but this seed origins is related to the scientific name. I'll select the scientific name for the plant batch. It will filter the results, and then seed bags for this species. And you can also search here and allocate for projects. And here's a task for a batch. So you may also have a plant batch. You have to water, to apply fertilizers, or add some mycorrhiza if you need. Usually they are applied just when making the tubes, but you can schedule different tasks for a same plant batch. So I have cleaning, plant seeds, inspection, monitoring, mowing, planting, seeding, spraying, tagging, watering, weed whacking, and weeding. So I can select schedule task dates, a start and end date for continuous tasks, completion date once this task is done. So the restoration worker come here, type the completion date. You can assign an employee to do so. And comments. So let's start a new batch here. So let's select the same plant species, Achillea millifolia, that's common yarrow. Let's say we plant a tray. Usually a tray has 98 plants. Pot size, let's say it's 10 cubic inch. And date as planted, let's plant, let's say April 1st. The last update is also April 1st. Seed origin. So for this plant species I have only one plant site selected, but I think I have more here. Let's say for dog fur. Yeah, so dog fur have different plants seed origins. You can have the same or another one. So let's say use a different seed bag. Let's say 320. And then you can add some comments if needed. And then let's say you have here 98 plants available. So then save the records. We can also here plant task for a batch. Let's select inspection for 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, and assigned for me. Then let's save this task. We can add another task for the same plant batch. Let's say we will tag it, but let's tag it first. That's only a little bit more than 1 week later, and let's assign for me 2 and save direct. And here you can browse through the tasks for the same batch. So if we try to browse different range, to say that there are no records for that plant. So and then save here again. And so now we can allocate projects. Plants for a project. Let's say allocate for Buttes native plants, section the Montana Trail, and this is on a site. Let's select a site which has a section, so Anselmo Mine and this Mine Drain. So let's allocate here 48 plants, and you see this quantity available be reduced. So let's allocate plants to section. So I get this message: plant allocated, inventory reduced, and you see here quantity available was reduced from 98 to 50. So you can also here in this button click edit, view plant allocations, and the last allocation show up here. So 35 allocation for the plant batch ID 13 for this project, this site, this section, this plant species, quantity of plants. You can select here date to plant and check on planted once these plants really go to a site. And here you have a different view for the same allocations. So you can also search allocations by different criteria, print allocations, in a report, export to PDF, and I can also do something cool. So we can return this allocation quantity to a batch. If it's found that's better to rearrange the current quantities and return the plants to the batch, I can just come here, select the plant allocation I need, and return them to the batch. So let's return the allocation quantities to the batch. So okay, it disappeared from here, and if we close this screen, you'll see that the quantity available returned to 98 here. And then we can do another allocation for a different site or in different quantity. So this is the plant allocation screen, and let's jump to the next. So as you can select task for plant batches, you can also select tasks for facilities. So a facility may be a greenhouse, a hoop house, or a lab. It can be even a truck. So it's some resource we have to take care, either because there are plants growing or we need some maintenance for it. So let's set up here. Let's see if I think I have some tasks right here. So let's search for greenhouse. Okay, for the greenhouse we have facility. This is all tasks set up for the facility. You can select tasks incomplete or all tasks too, and some more tasks will show up. Let's see only the incomplete, I mean the test that should be done. So let's search. Okay, what determines if it's complete or incomplete is the end date. If an end date doesn't exist, so it's considered incomplete for the database. So for the greenhouse, may have this task like collect seeds, assigned for an employee. Recurrence, it happens like every week or every month. Comments and completion date. Oh, actually, the completion date's here. Okay, I remember now. To filter the incomplete task, you should click on this button here. So this is the criteria. So I can select here and click. So there's no tasks under this criteria, or here, so it's filter only incomplete tasks. Let's go back to search for the facility criteria, and I can combine incomplete by and search by date too. And for this task, you can select a date, and you can also include resources for this facility and equipment or task. So we can include like labor, different types of labor or plants. We can add a new resource here. Let's say if you can collect seeds, you can select the type of resource, let's say planting supply, and let's say you use just, for example, herbicides, so it pulls out the cost per unit, the gallon. Let's say you use half gallon. And then calculate the total we spent, and then save it. And then it assigns the greenhouse and the date the resource came. Here, so this is you can add a new task like this, clicking the new button and select, let's say, for a truck, schedule well, there's not really task for a truck. Let's select a different, let's say for orchards. Let's say description, what we're gonna do in an orchard. Let's say we're gonna spray. Select sign it for me and assign for tomorrow. Start date and dates. And for here you can like add new resource. Oh, save here and then add a resource. Plain supply. As you're gonna spray, you can add air side gallon, quantity, and see the total for it. Let's say now I spend labor of my own labor, and let's say spend there 2 hours in this task. So here you have another cost calculation for this task. Okay, and this equipment facilitates task setup. Closing the screen, we can go now to the seed mix calculator. I'll skip this notification mail to show you at the end. Let's show you now the seed mix calculator. Here we can create and edit or select different seed mixes used for planting large areas of restoration projects. So you can select up to 15 species for a seed mix with different percentages and desired seeds per square meter, and even assign sections where they are planted. So it calculates according to seeds per kilogram, data from USDA or from supplier, how many kilograms per hectare we're gonna need, and select an area from this drop-down lists, and it calculates right away how much how much of the seeds we're gonna need, and for this area, or for a user define the area. Let's start a new one. Okay, so see the species which you have here. Let's say you start a new one. We have this, and it pull out the data, seeds per kilogram. Let's try another one. Pulls out data, and I think this has, so it will fill out only if you have the data in the database. So okay, this one has to, let's work with these 3 seeds. So let's say we use like 5%, and here will be like 45, and here be 50%. So it totals 100%. Let's say we want 150 seeds per square meter. So this way we have 16.667 kilograms per hectare of these seeds for this species, and this much per hectare from this species, and this much for this species. Once we have, let's say we use in this section, which has this area already registered from the area management screens, so you know how many kilograms you're going to spend for this section. Or if you want to calculate, let's say for 1,000 square meter, so the system calculates you how many seeds you're going to need for this user-defined area. We can assign a name for it. Let's say test mix. Let's say it was made today, and then we save the mix. And later in a section screen, we can assign this seed mix to be planted on a section or polygon. So let's see here have the total kilograms for hectare, total kilograms for the section, and for user defined area. Okay, and you can print the seed mix too, and that's it. So thank you for watching, and see you next video.